Billy Gill.
God bless football, Mikey, eh?
God bless football, Stugotz.
Mikey A has a big smile on his face. I have a big smile on my face. Billy has the normal grin on his face, the normal smile on his face, like he's about to stir it up. Billy is wearing his dolphin uniform. Dude, that's like a dolphin uniform you have rocking there, man.
No, it's a polo shirt. I went to like a parents' day at the school.
Yeah, but you look like you could be Mike McDaniel's nephew in town, doing a little coaching on your own. Yeah.
Billy, Mikey A is right because you have the hat on and you have the shirt on and you have headsets on. And so
I do.
You could pass for a coach.
True.
You could. Coach Gill.
Thanks.
Quality control.
That seems like such a BS job, quality control, right? What do they actually do?
What, like the
They
get back
paid.
coach?
No, the quality control coach. What does that even mean?
I don't know. QC. I mean,
Yeah.
what do
Isn't
they
that what
do,
Sims
Mikey?
was? Isn't that what Sims was? They
Okay.
watch the tape and don't they do a lot of that kind of stuff, right?
Whoa. Sims is not going to like being called a quality control coach.
I thought that was his first job with the Patriots was QC.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
Could be wrong.
I hope it wasn't, and Billy clips it in a way that we can play it back for Sims so we can tear your head off. I mean, Jesus.
Sure. Not the first time. It won't be the last time.
Maybe Billy knows. I don't know.
I don't
Billy,
know.
do you? What are you doing right now?
We got a lot of things going on, lots of moving and shaking going on at the moment. We have, potential guests coming on at some point that I'm trying to kind of get together. I have an idea that I want to try to float out there, see if you guys like this idea or not. Do you want to hear the idea or no?
I would love to hear the idea. Yeah, before we get to Hard Knocks and the Jets and Mikey A being very excited, let's get to Coach Gill's idea here. Go ahead.
Well, okay, so we had Dan Nitro Clark, the American Gladiator, on not too long ago, if you remember.
He was great.
He was great, and he just kind of in passing, while he was talking to us about steroid use and almost like trying to recruit us to do that with him, which I thought was, maybe not our most responsible moment, but
like a jacked pyramid scheme.
Whoa.
Yeah, easy.
Whoa.
Mikey.
No.
You have Sims coming after you and now Dan Nitro Clark. What are you doing?
No, he was
in Connecticut. No one's here.
No, he was talking about testosterone replacement, hormone replacement for Stugotz because he's getting older, poor guy. So anyway, he was trying to get Stugotz on it, but he just kind of casually mentioned to us that he's going to be doing fantasy football and could really use help with his fantasy football team. And I think it was meant as like a throwaway nothing comment because we invited him back and we're like, yeah, absolutely, we'll help you with that. And then we were approached about having people come on for fantasy football, like a fantasy football preview segment. Right. So I said yes to them, but I also said, however, let them know that I would like them to help Dan Nitro Clark pick his fantasy football team. Great. So now we get into a situation where we have to kind of align the schedules if they're down for that idea. But I did not forget Dan Nitro Clark saying he wanted help with his fantasy football team. And I am making it my mission before this NFL season starts to get Nitro help with his fantasy football team.
I love the idea. So you had a list of demands that you sent back to the guest bookers, which I love, by the way.
Not demands in any way. It was not like threatening. I was not like raising my voice. I said, yes, I would like to have them on to do this. If we can make that happen.
Fair.
Yeah. But let's try to make that happen.
But if they're not willing to do it or we can't get Dan Nitro Clark, they don't come on at all, is what you're saying.
We haven't gotten to that point yet. We haven't
because we have our guys. We'll have Matthew Berry on at some point. We'll also have Matthew Cherry on. I mean, so we don't really need to put these. Maybe Matthew Cherry can help Dan Nitro Clark.
I honestly think that if we had Matthew Berry on and we said, hey, we want you on, but we want you to help Nitro, the American Gladiator, he would love that. That seems like something he would like to do.
Yes. Well, maybe you should dangle that in front of whoever's pitching themselves for this show. Say, hey, if you're not willing to do it, Matthew Berry will. How about that?
How long until Nitro gets Matthew Berry on HGH?
Wow.
I mean, I'm still waiting for mine, so...
Well, he told us reach out to my person, and you haven't done that. Yes. So
I don't know. I don't have the person's contact.
He did kind of just throw like, hey, yeah, reach out to XYZ. And we're like, okay. And we're like, who is that? Like, how are we going to do that? Like, if you say so, sure.
Right. Like, slather me in HGH. Just tell me who to reach out to. I don't care.
What would you do on HGH?
I assume feel better. I don't know.
Would you start working out?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Isn't HGH a shortcut for working out? Like, rather than work out, just put that all over yourself, or no? Not how it works.
All over yourself?
I have not everywhere, but everywhere.
How do you think you use it?
I have no idea, Billy. I'm inexperienced with steroids.
Okay.
And growth hormones. I mean,
so your team's on Hard Knocks, huh?
Yeah, but I want to go to you on Hard Knocks first. Okay?
To me?
Yes, Coach
okay.
Gill.
Yeah.
I want to go to you first because Mikey and I, of course, are excited about it. We love the first episode. I don't need to talk to Mikey A to know how much he loved that first episode. I could feel it all the way from Florida. He's in Connecticut. I felt how fired up he was as we were watching that thing. Billy, what were your thoughts on it? Like, I love Hard Knocks as a show. The quarterback show on Netflix is also excellent. I love Hard Knocks as a show. So, and I loved episode 1 because finally my team is relevant. But what were your thoughts on it?
I thought the opening speech from Robert Saleh was not as impactful as maybe he intended for it to be, like where he was talking about crows attacking eagles and how eagles just fly all the way up until the crows suffocate and then fall to their death. And I think he said this is a valuable lesson for everyone. And I think he even said, like, take out your pens and write this down. And it's like, I don't think you need to write that down. And also, I don't really see how, like, that super applies to this situation, because he's like, you know, crows are going to be coming for us. And it's like, so let's just fly as high as possible so they suffocate and die. And I didn't get it personally, right?
Right. Yeah.
Aaron seemed to like it, or he was laughing at him because he had like a big grin on his face. And I'm like, is he motivated, or does he think his coach is an idiot? I don't know what the answer to that is. But, you know, I was also thinking about like motivational speeches. I feel like when someone is delivering a motivational speech, you have to be open to motivation, because if you go into it and you're not looking to be motivated, I think it's very easy to be like, this is an absurd speech. You know what I mean? Because I was thinking, as me, the viewer, not super motivated. However, if I was like a 22-year-old New York Jet, I might be like, wow, he's right about that.
I'm trying to think of a motivational speaker that could get through to Billy Gill. I'm trying to think of somebody, some sort of analogy that somebody could make. And
but to Billy's point, like, Mikey, I think if you don't want to
be
motivated, nothing's going to work. If you don't want, right.
Yeah, like I'd have to be in a position looking for motivation at the time. Look, I'll tell you something, and you'll think it's ridiculous. Sometimes I'll be sitting in there and I'll be doing like a class on Peloton or something, and I'll be like, you know, 10 minutes in, and I'm struggling because I'm in terrible shape, but I'll be like 10 minutes into like this ride, and then like the instructor will say like something, and I'll be like, yeah, you're right. I am going to be a badass bee today. And then like, because I'm in the mood to be motivated, because I'm like, you know, have no energy. It seems like that motivation specifically sometimes is like geared towards like, almost with the language, like this is for a mom, but like, I'm not a mom, but I can also be motivated like one, you know what I mean? Because in that moment, we're in this whole thing together. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even if the class says like Peloton moms, like in that moment, I'm a Peloton mom, if that makes sense.
The endorphins are running, like you're feeling good about yourself. And then 10 minutes after you're removed from that bike, you just go back to being Billy again, right?
I do get that like runner's high, even though I'm not running, I'm on a bike. But I do feel good, and I always look at myself in the mirror afterwards. I'll be like, this class worked today. And it's like, yeah, but if I look at it, it's like I probably burned like 80 calories. So I look exactly the same. But in that moment, my head is convinced there's a difference.
The motivational speaker I think that could get Billy fired up is Tony Robbins. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like Tony Robbins. No?
He gives me magician vibes.
Really? He's selling you a bunch of BS.
I don't know. His hair's too dark. There's something going on.
I think I'm with you on this. Actually, it feels like a total scam.
I didn't say that. I did not.
Magicians are scams. I don't care what you say.
Whoa. What is that supposed to mean?
Wow.
The tricks aren't real. I mean,
Says whom?
Illusions. The illusions.
Mikey, did we have that magician on from Lake Tahoe? Did we do that at one point on one of these shows? There's a magician who does an opening act for all the golfers at Lake Tahoe, and we had him. I'm not certain Mikey was there. I know Golick Jr. was there, and I think Stanzik was there. He was a hack. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know what it is about magic. Mikey, what do you think? Billy, by the way, just quickly here. On the speech, did you notice Robert Saleh? It seemed like he was looking down at like index cards or something. Like he had some notes written down. You can't do that when you deliver a speech. It's got to be free flowing off the top of your head. You can't, even if you have notes, you don't look at them. It's a terrible job by Saleh.
Yeah, I think that's a thing that you kind of have to. If you're going to remember the story about the eagle and the crow, you need to just remember the story about the eagle and the crow. Especially, well, also. Don't really know when that speech happened in training camp, right? Like it started the whole season of Hard Knocks, but like that could have just been like a random day after something else, you know?
Yeah. Mikey, you wrote about the first episode of Hard Knocks. Please tell the audience what you wrote, where you wrote it, where they could find it. They'd be interested in it. I'm interested in it, and I can't find it.
A to Z Sports / New York Jets. I did a running commentary. So basically you can almost feel my nipples get harder as you read because I was just so into it. I loved every minute. You guys know how I feel about Zach Wilson. I am even starting to buy into the Zach Wilson redemption story. I am starting to buy into it.
I am too. I feel like Zach is learning, which is kind of crazy, but I'm like, you know what? Aaron's really teaching him. This is great.
Yeah.
Why did you guys need to see it on your television screens? I said for a month now, one of the great things that could be a byproduct of getting Aaron Rodgers is he could teach Zach Wilson.
You say a lot of things.
Exactly right. You just say things.
I'm right.
You say a lot of things.
But occasionally I get it right. But here's the thing for Zach. Zach makes a great throw and Aaron Rodgers gets the credit. It's unbelievable.
That is true also. That's kind of true.
Liev Schreiber stole the whole episode though.
Really?
Really? I don't think we loved him.
I loved every minute when he's walking out and he's talking about walking out and needing to iron his shirt. I was laughing, and then when he talked about the football and he put it down, that was really funny. I thought he was awesome.
What happened to Aaron trying to get everyone to go over and say hi to him? Like, it was a little awkward.
And our friend Hack was like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm not gonna go over there.
Jets coaching staff is jacked.
Yeah,
you notice that?
Yes.
Yeah. Saleh's jacked.
I gotta tell you, my wife Hack is jacked. Ulbricht's jacked.
Oh my God. Ulbrich is like he's
jacked. Yes.
But he's also giving Saleh a run for his money. Am I right?
Yeah. It appears like both of them have met Dan Nitro Clark.
Whoa. What is that supposed to mean?
You know what it means.
You know what I was thinking? Did you see when they broke down into like their individual like positional meetings?
Yeah.
But like every single coach was just like super cliche talk to all of them. And it was I was like, man, this is just like the product of growing up. Like your life being football is like you were at some point like this piece of moldable clay. And then they just molded all of these cliches into your entire life. And now you're older and you're just passing down the exact same nonsense things to the next generation, who will then continue to give that to the following generation after that. And then the generation after that. Like we will never lose useless cliches, I don't think, in football.
No, we won't.
And we shouldn't, by the way. I'm glad that we won't. Yeah. They mean nothing, but I'm glad that we won't.
I don't want Dan Campbell to stop ever.
I was just going to ask you about Dan Campbell if you guys missed Dan Campbell this season, because I kind of do.
I do. I'd like to get him on the show if possible. Golick is very friendly with him. Yeah,
is he really?
Yes. Golick has a relationship with Dan Campbell. So I'll use Golik's name to try to get him off.
We should get him soon, yeah. Because once the season starts, it's not going to be great. Did you see that he was on Pardon My Take and he told him that he tried to get permission to have a live lion on the sidelines, and the, quote unquote, the NFL frowns on that, so it couldn't happen.
The fact that means he actually asked.
Oh yeah,
someone asked for him, which is
I
great.
think he asked the team owner, and the team owner was like, I guess, but I don't think the NFL likes that.
I hope that there is some like mid-level management person that had to take that call and be like, so Dan would like a lion on the sideline. What do I tell him?
Quality control coach, right?
That's the job of the quality control coach, I think. And the job is, this request is absurd. We are never going to do it. Find the person to blame for why we can't do it, because you will not be calling the league office and asking if we can have a lion on the sideline. They will think we're insane. So you need to find someone that says no, or make that person
someone get
up.
Sims.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, Dan Campbell, like, Trudy Velasquez says we can't do it. And he's like, oh, Trudy. And then he goes into the meeting and then they're like, who's Trudy?
Trudy.
Like, just completely made up name, not a real person. Just
Trudy Velasquez.
Someone needed to be the person to say no. And that's the person, a made up person.
It was poor Trudy.
Yeah, poor Trudy, man.
Trudy always raining on our parade.
He calls in and he's like, I can't. He files like an official complaint. They're like, oh, don't worry, Dan. We let Trudy go. Next time, you'll get the lion on the sideline. Nothing we can do this time. The lion deadline.
She burned that fridge.
Yeah, the lion deadline was before training camp. Nothing we can do. Nike says that we can't put a lion on the sideline after a certain point in time.
If Campbell wants Finney on the sideline, he can have him. This dog just won't stop barking.
We didn't even hear him. Finney's a good boy.
Oh, you didn't hear him? I'm sorry. Okay, well,
Yeah.
he was barking.
Anyway.
This is gonna be a strange sentence to the audience. But Billy, are we having Bob Ryan on this episode to break down Barbie?
Bob Ryan's going to be on to talk about the Patriots and the NFL. And if we just so happen to ask him about Barbie, which he has lots of thoughts on for some reason and keeps tweeting about, then that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
It's Bob's world, man. Whatever Bob wants to talk about, we're going to talk about. Perfect.
That looks like the office of a man who has written his entire life.
Yes.
That is, well, not, but it's just since I was 11.
What'd you do the first 10 years?
That's the first time I was getting ready to get, doing my preparation.
Okay.
And then when I was ready, I finally wrote something for myself when I was 11. I wrote a column, and it was about the grade school basketball league that I played in and some random sports observations, including saluting the 56-57 Celtics.
Wow. That's the first column you ever wrote?
Yeah, and I wish I had for years and years. It was just for me. I wrote it. I called it the Sportster, and I wrote it. And years and years, I actually had it, but somewhere along the way, in one of your moves you make, it got lost. It's too bad. I'd love to have it.
That is too bad. I would love a breakdown of the basketball league.
I did say that, and I quote Bob Cousy: "Quarterbacks this club masterfully." Unquote.
Wow.
I do remember that one.
The great Bob Ryan is with us. We wanted to have you on for a few reasons, okay? Number one is I read a report, and no one would know better than you because you are Boston sports, okay? I read a report that I simply don't believe, and that report was that Bill Belichick is on the hot seat, Bob. So I ask you, is Bill Belichick indeed on the hot seat?
The scribes who are closer to the situation than I, a officially retired person who still has his hand in things, okay, full disclosure, have speculated and have actually used that damning phrase, hot seat.
Right.
It's out there that some people think it's conceivable. I doubt it, only because it would mean that Daddy Kraft would, has soured or would be on son Bill, if you will. He has always, I just can't bring myself to believe that he won't give Bill unlimited length on the rope to figure something out, and I think this year is pivotal because there was so much talk about the offensive disaster last year and the OC fiasco of Patricia and Judge, and so much optimism based on the fact that Bill O'Brien is now here and that he'll be the magic elixir that'll make Mac Jones, healthy, quote unquote. So I think I can't buy it, but some people have dared to suggest, and
right.
they're closer than but I just don't. I just can't see it.
All right.
Bob, you've known Bill for a long time. If he were to get fired, do you think he'd be done coaching, or can you see him taking another job?
I think I could see him taking another job for the simple reason that I see no change in the following. I have long believed that nobody in the business, nobody loves what he does more than Bill Belichick. First of all, he is a thorough football person. I also believe that never in the history of there's never been a more football all around knowledgeable person ever to coach in this league. He supposedly has a collection of football books that is the largest private collection of football books known to man. Okay.
What?
I've always said that he knows more about Paul Brown, than Mike Brown does, and I believe that, by the way, in terms of his football life, maybe not his paternal life. Anyway, he likes every part of it. He likes he likes practice, God knows. He loves the off season. He likes draft preparation. He gets immersed in it up to his neck. He likes, he doesn't mind coaching the North-South game. He loves being around people. He loves training camp. He loves everything. And by the way, that includes my belief that his meetings with the media are carefully orchestrated, and he's having the time of his life making people uncomfortable. And that when he's done with one of those, press conferences, he walks back into the coach's room and says, "Hey, I did it again," And
listen. By extension, Bob, if he's on the hot seat and he does get fired, by extension, everyone's on the hot seat, because teams would fire their coach, even if it was a good one, to get Bill Belichick.
Yeah, his failing is his feet of clay, if you will, is not coaching. It's drafting, and it's like Rick Pitino in Boston. The GM screwed the coach. The GM was Rick Pitino, anyway. Now that's maybe stretching the reference, but nonetheless, Bill Belichick can be faulted for his drafting, but not for and the other thing is. He has to really swallow hard and grit his teeth to spend big money on a free agent, and some have worked out. Darrelle Revis for a year was phenomenal. Obviously, he wasn't a free agent; it was a trade. It was incredible. But Randy Moss was a trade, 7th round. To this day, I'll never understand football and draft choices, frankly. But anyway, so but not the game-to-game coaching. You'd still I wouldn't trade Bill Belichick for any coach in the game once the game starts.
Bob, could you see a scenario where, let's say he is on the hot seat, things don't work out the way the Patriots fans or Robert Kraft want to, they let Bill go? Could you see a reunion maybe in Las Vegas where Tom Brady, now team owner, hires Bill Belichick, and then all is forgiven?
Goes to OC, right?
Exactly right, and all is forgiven.
Well, that would be interesting, because we did learn without question that Tom Brady got tired of Bill Belichick. Mm-hmm. And all he laid the groundwork in that infamous, if you will, interview with Jim Gray years ago, when he was asked about does he feel appreciated in Boston, and he said, "I plead the fifth," and we should have taken that as a very serious answer. When he left, he didn't look back. It was no hesitation. And I think he did get tired of Bill Belichick. Doesn't mean that they could reunite theoretically, but just remember, it wasn't all kissy face at the end.
I've always wanted that story to be a situation where absence makes the heart grow fonder, and the two realize how important they actually were to each other's career, because they really did help each other, and it's a shame if that's just how it all ends.
Of course, it would be, and it'd be very sad. And I think you were 100% correct. I think that's a more likely scenario, that Tom now, that after he's even though he's won another one. And he knows he's now won the battle in the public opinion because he's won and Bill hasn't, and all that. But I think that's a very sound premise, and I would subscribe that Tom would see, would look at it differently now. But that's an interesting premise, believe me. But I'll tell you what, Bill's 70 on the nose, and he doesn't act. He's vigorous, he's healthy, as far as we know. His enthusiasm for the job has not waned. And this will be an interesting year. It's a bounce back possibility, a need, not possibility. It's a bounce back necessity in a very challenging division. They're going to be the consensus pick for last.
Yeah.
And that alone will fuel him. Don't worry.
Bob, I'm going to make a bold prediction. If indeed he gets fired or he just steps down as a head coach of the NFL, we all know, it's well documented, his passion for lacrosse. I could see Belichick being a lacrosse head coach for the next 5 to 10 years. Small college town. His daughter's into it. She's a coach somewhere. I could see Belichick doing that. Can you?
Well, or because there's a real viable National Lacrosse League. There is one. We know that. But I mean, he might be interested in administrative. Good point. And he does love lacrosse. He was the prime reason why they wound up having lacrosse championships here in Gillette.
Right.
Because of Bill. Bill was the driving force. Yeah, most people outside, that, and you viewers, listeners know, but most people don't realize that. Unless you lived here, you wouldn't be aware of the fact that he's a real big lacrosse guy.
What about a potential return to New York? He kind of did them dirty, comes back, does one for the Jets, cleans up that mess. I like a good redemption story, Bob. You know what I mean? I don't like things ending sourly. So I like people going back and righting wrongs.
And I find that very doubtful. And I don't think now, of course, I know this for a fact. I was told by no less a hallowed personage than the late David Halberstam, who did a book with Belichick and was a Nantucket friend, if you will, of Belichick, that he only referred to the team in New York that is not the New York Giants as begins with an F, Jets.
Oh, right. Okay.
Only refer to them as the
football Jets.
Yeah. Friendly.
Yeah. So I think those feelings are deep. I would find that very unlikely.
Right. But they have Aaron Rodgers now. That might change it a little bit.
Oh, you're talking about for this year, but I'm talking about down the road.
I'm talking about next year. Like I'm saying, even if Saleh went, 12-5 and they made it to the Super Bowl, I'd still fire him for Belichick,
Yeah. Or what about a return to the Jets or Cleveland just to run them into the ground out of vengeance?
Yeah, he got caught.
Or do it to Brady in Vegas.
And he got caught in the franchise relocation.
Yeah,
but he got caught in that. He was
right.
Not happy. He'll never get over that. You're right,
Bob. Oh, I'm sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
No, that's right. But he's a fascinating person. He really is. And it's this. Nobody just, as I said, just remember, if I leave you with the one thing, nobody not only loves football more, that knows more about all aspects of football, including history, that has ever coached in this league than Bill Belichick.
All right, so we play a few games. I'll get to you tweeted something out recently, and I want you to elaborate on it. We'll get to that last year, okay? But we play a few games on the show. One of them is Shot for Your Life, okay? Shot for Your Life. This is three-pointer for your life. You can only choose one of these two guys, okay? They have to hit the three-pointer, Bob, okay? You're choosing the guy that will most likely hit the three-pointer, and if he does, you stay alive. If he doesn't, bad things happen to you. Bird or JJ Redick, three-pointer for your life.
Larry in a breeze.
Thank you. Good. Okay. Now, if I ask you Larry Bird or Michael Jordan, three-pointer for your life.
Three-pointer? Oh, Larry would come. My uncle made himself into a decent three-point shooter. Larry Bird was one of the original practitioners of the art in the NBA and used it for strategic purposes only, not like the game is played today where it is the game.
Okay.
No question. And by the way, I even think Michael would admit that.
Yeah.
Okay. Steph Curry or Larry Bird, three-pointer for your life.
For my life, I want Larry.
Yeah.
And nothing about Steph. I was thinking when you mentioned three-point, I would have had an answer to the question you haven't asked, and I'll see if it comes up.
Okay. I
like
that.
All right. Well, if it doesn't come up, please ask yourself the question and answer it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, game for your life. Okay. Game for your life. You have to choose one of these two guys to be the best guy on your team for that entire game. Dwayne Wade or Paul Pierce.
Wow.
Game for your life.
This is a tough one because obviously I have a real stronger awareness of the presence of Pierce as opposed to Wade. He did have some awful big games. And I don't have an image of Wade being the closer kind of guy.
Right.
And Paul could be.
I'll tell you, before he got LeBron, though, he was the MVP finals with Shaq.
I know he was in 2006, whatever.
Let Bob answer.
I'm sorry.
I know.
You know what? I'm sorry.
not.
You got to talk it out. I'm sorry, Bob. I'm sorry. Billy's right.
All right, I'll say Pierce. I'll be loyal. I'll say Pierce.
What? Wait.
Oh.
I'm not going to the mattresses on that one, by the way. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. Now, game for your life, different sport, baseball. Okay. You got to choose one of these starters, Josh Beckett or Kurt Schilling.
Schilling.
Wow.
Schilling, huh?
Kick Schilling,
Okay.
easy.
All right. Is there anyone I could put, with Schilling where you would not choose Schilling? Is there something, Pedro or?
But it's interesting because Pedro obviously has a better resume, and it's the best. His best was the best that I've seen in Boston, including Clemens' best. That 99 2000 Pedro is the best pitcher I've ever seen in up close and personal. And so, in that period of time, I'd take Pedro in a walk. But Schilling was consistent. He did it in 3 different uniforms. Really. And struck out 300, right, for 3 different teams. And that's it. But he was a big kind of guy. Pedro faltered at times. So if I had to go for my life, and I knew he was primed, I'll say Schilling.
Okay. Big game pitcher. That's fair. Game for your life, different sport, football. Brady or Montana?
Montana's Super Bowl reservoir, as we know, 11 TDs, no interceptions, right? 4 for 4. Some of Brady's Super Bowl wins were game management wins in which he was not even remotely close to the best player on the field. I'll have to say Montana.
Okay. Wow.
All right, Bob. This one's going to be tough. Ruth or Ohtani?
Yeah, Ruth or Ohtani.
Yeah.
They can both pitch. They can both hit in that game for your life.
Well, let's do one at a time. Who takes the bump?
Ruth, as a pitcher, was on his way to the Hall of Fame as well. I think it was 92 and 44, something like that. There's no question he was constructing a Hall of Fame pitching resume as well. This is really interesting. Ohtani, oh God.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It really is. I mean,
they're not supposed to be easy. Just the Bird Reddick one was easy. That's it.
Your life's on the line. I mean,
I'll say Ohtani.
Oh, wow.
Plus, on top of everything else, he could steal a base for you.
Well, this is just this was just pitching, though. We could do hitting separate. Yeah.
Oh, just pitching.
So for pitcher, you'd go Ohtani. For hitting, you'd go Ruth.
Well, Ruth. Obviously the game was different. He's in addition to everything else, he's a 342 lifetime hitter.
Yeah.
So I'll say Ruth. I'll stay loyal to that generation. But I'll say Ruth. I'll go tiny pitcher, Ruth batter.
Ruth had to go 9-10 innings though when he pitched. Ohtani 6 innings, quality start. He's out of there. I mean,
he famously went.
Yeah.
He went 16 once in the World Series.
Doesn't surprise me.
But the game is a bit different now.
But you don't like it, Bob. Come on.
Worse, some would say. Yeah.
You don't like it. I mean, go out there and throw 9. Give me a break.
Mm-hmm. This is a whole lengthy discussion. Yes, you're right.
You got 4 days off. I mean, put in a couple extra innings. Not like you're going out there every day.
It's not. I'm sure he would if they let him.
Yeah.
It's the name of the game now. The way the stat nerds have taken over. And they really have. And we can't face somebody the third time around. God knows.
Yeah.
There's a 17% batting percentage change I'm sure you've explored that one a few times.
But that's the fault of Bill James, which is one of your brethren out there, Bob, I feel like.
I don't think here's glad you brought that up because I've addressed this.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Bill James was a pioneer who was one of the most important figures in the history of baseball who never put on a uniform. But the revolution often overtakes the leader.
Yeah.
And all that Bill James do, it isn't. No, if it stopped with Bill James and runs created, which you don't even hear about anymore, and some of the other stuff that he came up with, he looked at the game from a different viewpoint, and it was very positive in my regard and good for the game. It's been taken too far.
Agreed.
So the leader is, has been put in prison, and the pups are running the show.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the inmates are running the asylum. It's crazy. Yeah, it's nuts. All right, Bob. So what was the question we didn't ask?
I thought you were going to ask me about who I'd want to take the last shot among, three 3-point shooters of note, okay? Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Right.
Reggie Miller.
Right.
And the winner and still champion, Ray Allen. And I wanted to have a chance to say Ray Allen.
Okay, good.
For the last shot among those three and the big game, I know you got the last one, Ray Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Good, because you feel like he was not treated correctly in Boston, right? You want to highlight him what a great player he is.
They had a falling out. It's apparently all been patched up. They're all huggy now, but they're a little bit of a fall. Now Ray, they're interesting personalities. Garnett's a very distinct personality, and Ray, of course, is well known, for his intensity. He's borderline OCD. Seriously,
Yeah, he is.
And I mean, just the way he went about his life, it could. I'm sure that they came into conflict on various things. So, but
what if I threw Bird in there as a fourth? It would always be Bird, right? That's it.
For the three,
yeah, Bird or Allen, yeah.
Allen in the corner.
Wow, over Bird, huh?
Corner. Allen in the corner, Larry out front.
That's so great. Ray in the corner, Larry out front. That.
By the way, that's not just a joke. I mean it.
Mm-hmm.
Larry was pretty good from the corner, Bob. He put his hand up before it went in, won the 3-point contest.
Hey, let me tell you a story quickly if you got a second. We were in Chicago one night and it's for the game, and I'm talking to Larry and he's shooting around way early, and I'm there, and I say to him, "Okay, Larry, here you go. I'll give you $5 if you can make a left-hand 3-pointer." And so he immediately runs to the corner. Naturally, that's the easiest, the shortest shot. Second one, swish. So I take the 5, I hand it to him, and he does like this. And he puts it inside the sock. And I want to believe to this day he played the whole game with that $5 bill inside that sock. Because that would be so Larry.
I love it. I love you, Bob. All right. We have to listen, we love everything that you've given us so far. But to be honest, this is the main reason we wanted to have you on, because I stumbled across a tweet of yours at Globe Bob Ryan. This was August 1st, Bob. Okay. And it made me so happy. It put such a big smile on my face. Here's the tweet, and I'll just let you go. Okay. Guess what? I saw Barbie. It's creative and funny, but be advised that America Ferrera steals the show with one phenomenal rant.
Well, yes. And I thought it would be fun. Some days you just want to have fun. Twitter and Xing now. I had seen it. The reason I went, people say, why Bob Ryan go see Barbie? Well, we have a grandson, and he wanted to go see it.
Yeah.
And my wife and I had to go logistically because of what was going to happen after the movie. I couldn't stay home.
You wanted to watch it, Bob. It's okay.
I didn't mind watching. I read the reviews, and I was mildly curious. Barbenheimer, all that, and I haven't seen Barbenheimer yet, but I will. Anyway, that's why I was there. I didn't go like, I got to go see Barbie. I was the chauffeur. I was grandpa. I was papa, actually, Well, and I was pleasantly surprised. And it was well done. But if you've seen it, have you guys seen it?
Mm-mm.
No, but I don't mind. You could spoil it.
Do you want me to do a full disclosure on
Absolutely.
America Ferrera plays a real live woman. When Barbie comes to Earth, it comes out of Barbie land and comes to America, and it's a incredibly well written and awesomely passionately delivered talk about what it means to be a woman in terms of society expectations and society treatment and it's really powerful. It's a feminist rant supreme, frankly, and it's so well delivered. And to me, it was artistically the highlight of the whole movie. And I wasn't ready for it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready for that at all. And it was terrific. And so I just want to let people know, I wanted to say something nice about America Ferrera. And I think she was that good. I think it's, who was it? That won the Oscar once for like 1 8-minute performance. It's worthy of that. It's worthy of a nomination.
Seth Rogen.
Really?
And someone did it once. She won an Oscar for one scene, 8 minutes. Show once back about 25, 30 years ago. I'll think about it, of course, as soon as we get off. We are done. But
right, you'll remember it.
I recommend. I am saying that it's Oscar worthy nomination.
Really? So like best picture, best actress, best all.
No, best supporting actress.
Just best supporting actress. How about best picture? No.
Yeah. How about best picture?
I would. First of all, I haven't seen. No. I don't think so. It's a real surprise, but it's well done. And, Greta Gerwig is noted to be an excellent director. And people who are Barbie, no young girl, no woman who was once a Barbie fan, and is now a grown up woman they'll all love the movie. It's really well done.
Judi Dench is who you're looking for, Bob.
No.
Judi Dench won the Oscar.
No, it's not.
8 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. There must be two then. Okay. I got Judi Dench. But anyway, it can be done. It's been done. Yeah. And I'm telling you, America Ferrera is worthy of a nomination.
Unbelievable. Wow. What a great breakdown. How many Larry Birds would you give it?
Well, it's a scale of what? On a scale of 1 to 10, it could be a perfect 10, but it's at least a 9.8.
Wow.
10 birds, 9.8 birds.
What else is on that level? What else is a 10 bird performance?
Oh, well, my bird, of course, everybody, the Game 6 in 86, I believe, against Houston, though it's a triple-double, but the numbers aren't that extravagant. But that was the quintessential all-around Larry. He was extraordinary. It's the best defensive game he ever played that I ever saw. He was everywhere. And he seemed to be everywhere. He anticipated passes in the lane. He double-teamed properly. He helped. He was phenomenal. And he said... That
was the Ralph Sampson team he was playing against, Bob?
That was the team. They lost Game 5. That's when Sampson had a fight with Jerry Seasting. And they got beaten. They got manhandled. They got beaten on the boards really badly in Game 5 in Houston. And Game 6 is on Sunday afternoon. And on the day before, Larry has told us at practice, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready. Well, he was ready. And he played this phenomenal game. He even got a jump ball against Elijah Wan. How'd that happen?
Oh, my
God. He did.
Well,
he stole the clap somehow. So anyway.
That's what America did in the movie.
After the game, as time went on, I did the book with him, 2 years later. He said, I was never more focused than I was that day. He said, my heart was pounding out of my chest. Okay, so people should know, Game 6, 86. Of course, the Heat game on June 6, 1984, when it was 97 degrees Fahrenheit inside the Boston Garden, we had a heat wave outside, and of course the Garden was unheated. I mean, on air conditioned. And the Lakers were dying. They just wanted to go home. They were so miserable. And they had oxygen for Kareem and everything else. And Larry went 97 degrees Fahrenheit. When the game, they threw the ball up. Larry went for 34 and 17 and shot 15 for 20 from the floor. That's just amazing. Essentially peak Larry racing to the moment kind of thing. So there's two.
Okay. I got to tell you, but there were some great moments there. Okay. You wanted him to give examples of more movies. He went right into a Rockets Celtics Game 5 NBA Finals game. Larry Bird, best defensive performance he's ever had. Not what you were asking, but who cares? It's Bob Ryan.
One of my favorite things, he said Bird double-teamed properly in that game in like 84. Like only he could say that a professional athlete did it properly.
Correct.
Like, you didn't do it great. He wasn't amazing that night. He did it properly.
Right.
The way you're supposed to do.
He had Oppenheimer as Barbenheimer. I mean, but does it matter? It's Bob Ryan. And giving a glorious review, really broke it down of the movie Barbie.
I might have to go see it. I might have to go because Bob Ryan told me.
I know.
Listen, everyone's saying that it's good. I mean, it's breaking all kinds of records, and it's like at top of the box office every week. Like it's going.
I picture you guys not being big movie guys. I picture you guys don't go to the movies too often. You two.
I'm okay watching things when they're available at my house.
Same.
If that makes sense. Like, I don't need to rush and beat the crowd to go to the theaters. Also, and this is kind of like an embarrassing admission, because I always see when movies become available on demand or like you could rent them or whatever. And it's like, you can rent this movie for $20. It's like, I'll wait a month and then I'll rent it for $4. Thank you very much. Like,
if you wait another month, it will be $2. Seriously.
And if I wait a month after that, it's going to be available for free on Peacock. So like, I can play the waiting game like no one else can. You know what I mean? Like, I am not necessarily in on these trends. Now, I will say this, and this is a shameful admission. So as you guys know, and have made fun of me, I guess, for having a child recently. Right before my child was born, a Fast and the Furious movie came out, and my wife was like, "You want to go to the movies and like we'll see that just to like get like one last like normal thing in, one last movie, whatever, before we can go, right?" And we have a 2-year-old, so it was like, can we do this? And we quickly realized, you know, with how she's feeling about to give birth with a 2-year-old, do we really have 2.5 hours to do this? And we ended up buying the Fast and Furious on demand. So I own the Fast and the Furious 10 Fast X on demand on Amazon Prime or Prime Video or whatever for the rest of my life. And here's the crazy part, because I was always like, man, this is such a scam. Like they charge you like, it was like $24 or something. And I was like, how can I possibly justify spending $24 to own Fast X? And then I looked up movie tickets and it was like $13.99 a seat or something. I'm like, it is
save money.
It's cheaper for me to do this at home. I can make a popcorn in my microwave. That's going to save me another $8. Like,
you're not burning any gas. I mean,
prices are out of control right now. Don't get me started. And gas prices. Oh, don't get me started.
See, that's where you're wrong. I don't care how good they make microwave popcorn. Nothing will beat the popcorn at the movie theater.
No,
Oh,
Mike,
100%. 100%.
You're right. I love the movie going experience. It's just not as important to me as it once was. The last time I went to a theater was Maverick with my wife. That's it, because that needed to be seen on the big screen. But I'm with Billy. I'll wait for it to come out and I'll save money and I'll watch it right on my couch. I mean, I don't care.
I dropped the ball on Maverick. Like everyone said, watch this on the biggest screen available. And then finally, when I was going to go see it, I found everyone that I would have gone to see it with ended up going to see it. So I'm like, well, now I've waited too long. And then I'm like, you know what? I'll ask my dad, we'll go. And he's like, I already saw it. I'm like, oh, perfect. Like, why did you go to the movie theaters? When's the last time that happened? So then I was like, well, we'll go see it anyways. And then it wasn't in theaters anymore. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm watching this one at home. And I watched it at home. Good movie.
Yeah, well, it's better on a big screen though.
I probably. Well, you know what my remedy for that was? I just sat really close to my TV. I was like, you know what? Just gonna sit on the little kid mat right in front of the TV. I feel like I'm at an IMAX.
I think next time me and Chris Sims should fly down and go to the movies with you, Billy.
Wow. What happened to him? I invited him to come down here to show me how to watch film. What happened to that?
Yeah, he doesn't like you.
That happened.
Yeah. And why are you flying down with Chris Sims? You pissed off Sims today. You called him a quality control coach.
Because I assume he can fly private and I'd like to try it.
Do you think he does?
Sims?
Yeah.
I think he has.
If he needs to.
Yeah.
Which is really all you want. If I need
Yes.
to, I can go private. That's what you need to.
Right. No, I think he absolutely has. NBC, I'm certain, is flying him private, right? I would think.
I mean,
We'll ask him next time.
I could say no. I think he flies first class commercial unless
yes. Yeah. I don't think there's an. Well, we can ask
guys. He lives right down the street from Adam Silver. I mean,
yeah, no. He definitely has the means. That's not a question. What I'm saying is, and this is, I don't intend for this to be as rude as it's going to come off. I don't think NBC sees an instance where it's like, we need Chris Sims here in 2 hours. Get him on the PJ. You know what I mean? It's like, maybe. What's the next flight? He can get that one.
But I just imagine that entire crew flies out. If they're on location, they're going to a game. That entire group, much the way game day. I imagine all the game day guys are flying private to whatever place they're going.
Yeah, but they all live in different areas.
Like yeah, I don't think so. They don't live in a house
Wheels Up
together.
is a sponsor, so I think they get it on trade. I could be wrong, but Wheels Up is definitely a sponsor to that show.
Sounds like someone's been looking into this. By the way, did you see who is replacing the Bear?
No. Stanford Steve?
Yeah, Stanford Steve. It may not be the Bears job that he's replacing, but he was announced as like a college football gambling expert. Yeah, good for him.
That's who it should be if it's not going to be me. I mean,
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you were asking around to see how that could go for you.
I got to be honest. I did not. I thought about it. I did not ask. I did, but I did think about it.
Can I ask you a question? Who is someone who has come up to you with because I feel like you're close-ish to the Bear, and I don't know if you had any conversations with him before he left or anything like that, right? But has there ever been an instance where someone has come up to you and said, I have this opportunity to do X, but I would have to leave this like sweet gig that I have. Like, what do you think? Who's someone that you said, yeah, you should do it? Because then you saw like, well, that would be a good landing spot for me back there where they're leaving, you know?
Yeah, no, it's a great question.
It's a perfect question.
One, has it happened? You don't
so
need to
I'm telling him
names.
to do something that really I probably wouldn't do if it were me, but I'm doing it just so that spot opens up and I can
for
right.
you. Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, I texted Boomer Esiason the other day. He should retire.
Oh, very good.